Tony Hawkins has got a podcast. I hope he's better at this than he is washing the kit, because he was fucking useless.
Is this 30 or 31?
31.
31.
I think it is.
It's a prime number.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
We've got something good about this week. It's not been a great week.
No, it hasn't.
It's been shit.
A game to talk about?
Yeah, not great, was it?
No. First half, very promising, I thought. Second half, there just seem to be different opinions on that. Some people are saying, well, we played better in the second half than we did the first half. But, I mean, most of mine's come out and said we were pretty much terrible in the second half.
Yeah,
Alex Gilby at the man of the match said that second half just wasn't good enough.
No,
so
we were poor in the second half. We just were.
it's amazing how people get different perspectives on games.
I have subsequently changed my perspective on what happened on Saturday.
You have?
Because at the time, I've written on my phones here that I certainly wouldn't want to watch that shit every week, meaning them. But I've subsequently revised my opinion to think that they were just waiting for us to make a mistake. They were perfectly happy for us to have that
as I
session.
said about Portsmouth, I was hoping that other teams wouldn't watch that video because clearly Doncaster did.
Yeah, they certainly did.
And it would appear that we've watched the Doncaster videos because the one and only note I've got here is Lee bringing the ball out a greater distance than I've ever seen him do so before. And that must have been pre-planned. I can't imagine, because he was doing it with gay abandon.
He was,
every opportunity. So that must have been in the plan. But no, they did sit off like Portsmouth, and they did descend upon us as and when needed.
The guy that sits next to me reckoned he did say they're just waiting for us. They're sitting back and waiting for us to make a mistake. Basically, and we did.
But they were very similar. They were very similar in the way that they played out from the back. In fact, if anything, they actually looked a little bit further behind than us. I thought that their playing around at the back looked a bit dodgy, like ours when we first started doing it. So, but
I mean, they didn't press us at all, didn't they? Not even when
no, and then
they were hanging about, just hoping that we'd make a mistake. I don't even know if it was a mistake, if it was just a good goal by them, because obviously it was the other end. I don't know what to say. Yeah, it is what it is.
It wasn't terrible, I suppose, but we could have had 3 in the first half. Alex Gilby could have had a hat trick in the first half.
Yeah, what's in Britain had a good run at the beginning, didn't he? I thought it was Healy from where I was sat.
Well, we did have.
Just assumed it would be him,
We had more than a few chances in the first half to get a goal. But
and there was that terrible back pass that nearly rolled in. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Which, of course, made the guy behind me absolutely... He was apoplectic with rage, this guy. He was just like... Fucking, he went mad. And of course, then that was him for the rest of the match.
Well, this
kick it long, fuck's sake!
This is where I'm now testing my theory. So I went and sat in a random seat, and I'm now sure that a miserable old fuck isn't following me around everywhere. Right. There's just lots of them. There's just lots of them, or I'm hearing voices, because it was exactly the same, and this is dividing opinion between our fans as well, isn't it?
I've read that. Yeah, let's kick it long, playing it out for the backer.
But the thing is, everybody's saying, whilst they would like the idea of what we're playing, they want immediate results, or they're not offering solutions. The thing is, I'm trying to learn a piano.
Are you really?
I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be beef oven in 3 weeks' time, am I?
You're not. No.
Did he play the piano?
Yeah,
or did he just?
Didn't have pianos in those days.
No, they couldn't afford them, could they?
No, they weren't invented.
No, and they weren't.
They harpsichords.
Didn't have the digitalisation, did they?
One sat there.
So yeah, I've got one of those as well. Actually, I just don't get the whole. You can criticise the way that we're playing, but you have to understand that it's a process that takes time. Yes. And as I said, our playing out at the back compared to Doncaster's, they looked like we did a month ago or 2 months ago.
Yeah, they did.
They looked decidedly dodgy, where ours is much. There's definitely less shitty pants moments, as I've said before.
It's like I said a minute ago. I thought they were a bit shit, but like I've said, I've also think I'm probably wrong.
They played us.
They can't be where they are by accident.
They pretty much played the perfect game.
But if that is how they play every week, I would be soon bored watching that.
Yeah, I mean they clearly set up to play a certain way against us,
and they did.
But it would have been interesting to see. I mean, if we had got 1 or maybe 2 goals in the first half, like we probably should have done, what they would have done second half.
Changed their game plan.
Yeah, because they would then have to come at us, and
they executed their game plan perfectly, and we just.
But this is why we need to score the first goal.
That's
why we need to score the first goal. That's when the style of football that we play really kicks in, because teams then have to let go of that mentality of not letting us score and taking their opportunities when they're given through mistakes or overplaying or whatever. But when it comes down to it, again, we like the football. Some of us anyway realise that it is a learning process still.
Whatever happens, like this is it. This is how he's going to play out. He said it on this podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago that this is his style of play. He's not going to suddenly, revert to just hoofing it up the pitch to someone. No. He's just not going to do that, and I wouldn't want to see that, to be quite honest.
No, it's going to come together. It's not going to be Saturday. It's not going to be next week. It's not going to be 3 months' time. It's going to take time, and people have to understand that. But it is like bashing your head against the wall sometimes, talking to our fans or reading what they write, because it's all very good criticising it, but what what are you going to do? Just stop playing that way and find another way to play. What's your suggestions then? Give us some ideas.
Like the guy behind
Anybody
me,
can
all
criticise like that.
Kick it long, fucking kick it long, and then what happens when he kicks it long? Nothing.
No. I mean, sometimes there does come a point where the pressure might be too much, and you have to hoof it forward. But ultimately, it will work. And I've said this week, look how long it took Carl Robinson to get us playing the way we did, particularly in the 2 seasons, or mainly the promotion season, where we went out onto the pitch, we knew we were going to have all the possession, we almost certainly knew we were going to score, but I can remember Crewe on a Tuesday night, losing 1-0, having 70% possession.
All of that.
It's no different in my mind to back then. If you're going to paint it in black and white, there really isn't a huge amount of difference. It's just getting those players to become playing that way, and also a bit of consistency with the team selection.
I said it last week. It's still very early days for the whole project.
It really is.
It
really
is.
It's
just a shame that
it's just so. It's now beginning to annoy. It didn't usually annoy because I could just sit there and laugh at people, but now I'm thinking you really haven't got a fucking clue. You really haven't.
Majority of people that watch football are fucking idiots. To be quite
I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, of course, but there's nothing in general. There's nothing constructive in what they're saying. They're just saying, "I'm all for professional football, but we're just playing out around at the back and nothing's happening."
Yeah. Tony Wilson, owner of Factory Records, one of his catchphrases was, "You're entitled to an opinion, but your opinion's shit."
Yeah.
And there you go. You guys are entitled to an opinion, but your opinion is shit.
Yeah. I'll use the piano analogy, but it's probably not a good one. But, it's the same as anything. You have, and also teams go through, Liverpool are going to, barring coronavirus, which we'll come to.
We'll come to that later on.
Barring coronavirus cancelling the Premier League season.
I did say to someone today, wouldn't it just be hilarious if they fucking cancelled
and Liverpool fans then declaring that coronavirus was created by the FA so that they couldn't win the Premier League.
You can laugh, about this, but I have read tonight that there are already Celtic supporters in Glasgow are already kicking up a big fuss, reckoning that because they're going for them 8 or 9 in a row or whatever, they're already postulating the thing that it's a conspiracy against them. Shit,
Oh, I see. That is why I love football fans.
That is why fantastic. Some idiot in bloody China thought they would eat a raw bat so that Celtic can't win 10 in a row and Liverpool will not win the Premier League.
Well, the reason Liverpool are going to win the Premier League, and by some distance, is A, because they are the best team in that league at the moment. B, they have zero competition. The teams that should be challenging them, Man City gone off the boil, old squad, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Spurs. None of them are doing anything to challenge them this season.
But we're not here to talk about.
But we're not here to talk about shit there's nothing to say about the second half, is there?
Not
Really,
really.
that we can.
Well, they brought John Taylor on. That pleased me.
There you go. I
said,
barely recognised you, mate.
No,
I don't think
no.
I've ever seen you in
No,
shorts.
I was running a bit fast. So that's all I've written for the second half. Good to
But
see
it
me
sort of
suffer.
it sort of dwindled out to nothing, didn't it? And we didn't really look like scoring the second half. And I don't know what was different. I can't really place it. But even Gladwin, when he came on, really didn't affect the game at all.
No, he had that's his. Well, you're hesitant to say that was his poorest game, but if I was going to say it, I would say that was his poorest.
It was
game
his least effective.
It
I'd
was.
say.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Least effective.
I mean,
the other subs, again, not really
Can't
much
really-
to shout about there.
Nothing really.
Um,
Just one of those games, isn't it? I mean, you're not going to win every game. Not even Liverpool, who were talked about a second ago. They didn't. They've lost, haven't they, to bloody Watford? You know.
yeah,
You're,
again,
you're,
you
you're
do,
not going to win
we
every
are,
game. You're
at,
not.
at the moment, we're probably going to lose as many as we're going to win. The target obviously is staying up. Tranmere won their third game in a
bloody hell,
row.
I know. This is the thing. Now the gap's down to
so whoever-
5 points, isn't it?
So whoever cooked shufty at the
It's
table
down to
because
5
I know.
points now. That.
Yeah, they've got very close. They could. I don't think they can overtake AFC because they could if they.
It's
if
the
there was
AFC that I think
huge
that are
goal
in the biggest
swing.
problem at the minute from them, not us. Although we are, they're closing in, but I think AFC have got a more difficult run than us.
Yeah, well, so it's Tranmere 32, minus 24 goal difference though, which is pretty horrific.
That's a killer, isn't it?
AFC 35, 3 points ahead of Tranmere, but their goal difference is 11 better than Tranmere's.
That's a killer,
Then
isn't
a
it?
point ahead of them, Rochdale 36, minus 18. Then another point ahead of that, 37, us minus 11. And then Accrington, who've played the same game amount of games as us. Rochdale played one less than us, by the way, so they could overtake
they
us
could
if
overtake
things
us
go
this
tits
weekend,
up on
couldn't
Saturday. Yeah. So Accrington who are in free fall, 43 points ahead of us, but they've got
Maybe
5
it'll be
goal
them
better
then that'll
difference.
save us.
Well, I don't
Pretty
know.
well.
I mean, Shrewsbury as well. Same goal difference as us. They're on 41.
Jesus, they've.
Lincoln 42. So we are.
Look at that, Tony. Look at number 8.
Yeah, Wickham now in 8th.
Yeah, that's good.
Two
Not
places.
even in
But
the
having said
playoffs
that,
now, are they?
and this has changed since Saturday. But at one point there were, I think it was 6 teams on 59 points. Oxford have dropped out dropped out of the autos, but they were in the same. They were in 8th when Wickham was 2nd.
Yeah.
So that's how
Changed
quickly
a
it
lot.
can change, and we've seen that in the last couple of weeks with our lack of points and Tranmere making a final dash.
I'd still be.
And then Southend 19 at minus 46. Bolton on 14 minus 39. They drew 2-2 last night, didn't they?
Well.
Bolton, I think. So it's and there's still 44 games, isn't it, this season? So there's nine games to go.
Oh, man.
It's a lot of points. That's if we won all of them.
Yeah, we won't.
By my calculators, we'd end up on 64 points.
I'm still of the opinion that it's not going to be us that'll go down.
No, I
still think
feel
it'll
like
be Tranmere.
I feel like Accrington could
Yeah, they look like they're
could
getting
end up
dragged into it, don't they?
beneath us. Shrewsbury possibly. I think Lincoln are making a bit of a
Is
comeback.
that Tranmere
Bristol
right
Rovers.
up on their games in hand then? They don't have any left, do they? That's
No, they have got one game in hand. So,
God's sake.
as I say, they could with the game in hand, they could, if it was played tonight and they won, for instance, they could be on the same points as AFC. But their goal difference is so bad.
Right, yeah.
11 goals to pull back against AFC.
Pull that back,
Even
can't they?
more on us, obviously,
Mm.
but not so much on Rochdale. But it's going to be an interesting few weeks, that's for
Yes.
sure.
From all sorts of reasons. So we might as well talk about that now then.
What's that?
Will the league finish, to
Well,
be quite honest?
yeah, I mean, I was reading. There's not a lot of information about. I'm sure there's something that I got a feeling. I don't. There's a word for, isn't there? It's not misinformation at all by any stretch, but maybe it's slightly not quite so detailed in the information that we're receiving.
Before we go any further, I mean, we're not experts on anything.
No.
We're certainly not experts on this virus, so we're not going to sit here and, postulate as to how many people are going to get it or whatever. But there are already games being cancelled throughout the whole of Europe, so
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if this league finishes with us being able to go to every game. I've got to be honest with you.
I think stuff like that would hopefully anyway reduce the amount of people being infected.
Yeah.
But at the same time, reading the news articles on the BBC, the government or the health authorities have said that an epidemic is likely.
The pandemic, it's been announced as a global pandemic this afternoon.
It has, is it?
It has, so it's a pandemic now. So I don't know what to say. Like I said a minute ago, I'm not Nigel Farage. I'm not going to sit here and make shit up.
I mean, it would make sense to if they're going to stop people going to the games but still play them. I think that would be acceptable.
There's what we've gone from in this country now is we've moved on from containment, and now we're now in the delay phase. Yeah. So, like, an epidemic is inevitable, and they reckon it's going to come in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't really know what to say. I mean, let's not talk about that shit. Let's talk about what happens if it does get played behind closed doors. What happens then? Do we get to see it on iFollow?
You would hope so, because clubs were going to want to recoup some of the money, aren't they? That they'll have lost. Couldn't.
Would you be prepared to pay another tenner to watch it? You've already paid your season ticket price. We're already down on Berry, don't forget.
That's another. I mean, I had a chap the other day who was asking about the refund on his Berry.
Yeah, I've still not got that.
No, I mean you got choices there. You can either waive it, so the club doesn't lose what was already $30,000 or something from not being able to play the games. You can donate it, or you can get your refund. You can get your money back.
That
isn't even close to what's going to happen to some clubs.
No.
And I think, if you don't want to pay the extra tenner to watch the games, then that's your choice, obviously.
What I would like to happen, I would like the relevant authorities to waive this you can't watch football at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon nonsense. And I would like them to, if it does go to the fact where the government say, right, you can't have mass gatherings, that's stopped, but you can play the games behind closed doors. What I would like and what I want to happen is I want them to put it on like bloody iFollow and let anyone watch it not for nothing, because obviously you've already paid for your season ticket, but I wouldn't want to pay another tenner towards that.
Yeah,
that's what I want to happen.
I mean, the clubs, the infrastructure for filming the games is already there, obviously, because they film them all every single game anyway. So that isn't.
I mean, I don't mind if Lukash Mead and Toby Lock get it. I couldn't care less if they get it. You know, in fact, I'd like them to get it.
Well, they could actually watch it on iPhone and commentate.
They could do. They don't even have to go, do they?
Don't even have to go. Absolutely pointless. And as apparently Luke never talks about the game anyway, no one would know any different, would they?
Whatever happens, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out.
Well,
this is a unique situation.
If you're going to stop people going to games, for me personally, although don't get me wrong, I think it's a reasonable.
I think it's a reasonable action
idea
to take.
I wouldn't have an issue with it.
No, I don't.
But at the same time, people are still going to work. They're still going shopping.
I mean, I'm going to work. You know what? Like, I turned up to work today, and in our office, I swear to God, I'm not joking with you, there must have been about 10 boxes of those. You know those like neoprene rubber gloves?
Yeah.
They've given us them all out, and I said, "Are you joking?" I said, "You're giving us these and those cover. You know those bloody like clown shoes you get, those plastic covers for your shoes." I said, "Oh, yeah, all right, I'll take them." I mean, people don't know what's happening. I mean, look, the Arsenal and City game's been cancelled for tonight, hasn't it? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit.
Well, from the financial point of view, we know for a fact
that's going to put some clubs in the shit.
Unless they're Premiership,
when they
can play in front of.
We're not them.
Yeah, but anybody from Championship downwards, that could be a fatal blow.
It could be
for many clubs.
I mean, they're already. I mean, it's bad enough in League One, but take for example. Let's pick a random League 2 club. Grimsby, just off the top of my head. How's that going to affect someone like them if they can't finish the season?
Exactly. And
they can finish the season, but they're finishing it behind closed doors.
And the clubs will be budgeting game by game.
Yeah.
They'll know roughly how much they're going to make from each individual game. So pretty much any club in the country could now tell you, bang, if they ban football, if they ban crowds from next week, this is how much we're going to lose if we don't play 2 games.
However, having said all this, let's just think, like, Bill Shankly was wrong, and football's not more important than life and death, because basically this is an unprecedented situation we find ourselves in. From a purely personal point of view, I would be more than happy to go and, like, to a football stadium, chock-a-block with people. I really would. That wouldn't bother me, to be quite honest. I don't know about yourself. You have got underlying health issues, like you said before we kicked off.
I would wager right now that there probably are lots and lots of people who have already got it, had it, got rid of it, and never knew.
And see, to be quite honest with you, I think I'm one of them.
Well,
I had that cold last week.
Yeah, which I've now got.
There you go.
But I'm thinking that is definitely a cold. What you had last week was a cold, and what I've got at the moment is definitely a cold.
But I've still not got rid of it.
I know the difference, but
no,
mine was probably at its worst on Monday. But other than a few sneezes every now and again.
But like we say, we're not health officials, so we're
no, and and that's what they're saying is that there probably are people, almost certainly 99%. That there are people who have got it who don't know they've got it.
I'll be honest with you,
Tony, healthy enough to get over it, and that's it. It's done. But
when the junior health secretary gets it, that's when I'm thinking.
Well, this is it. You know, there are some. I mean, that's.
I mean, that's funny.
Yeah, that's when it becomes real for the Facebook generation. You know, what do you mean? Peter Andre's got coronavirus. Oh my God, it's a nightmare. Oh, you know, let's light a candle.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. We're only 25, 15 minutes of this podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The thing is,
but I will put some clubs in serious financial shit, and I hope we're not one of them.
We do know that it's coming, and like you say, it's probably in the next 2 weeks where it will peak. But it is about being sensible, and the whole toilet paper thing is still a mystery to me. I did go shopping the other day, and
do you feel a bit like embarrassed if you have to buy 4 toilet rolls if you need them? You know, I think, oh, sorry, I genuinely do need them. Like,
I tend to buy in bulk anyway.
You're one of them.
Yeah, although this time I bought 16, which is the least amount or the fewest amount of toilet rolls I've bought in years. Previously, I bought 54, which lasted me the best part of a year. But that's just me. I like to go and buy my stuff like that. But I did in anticipation of self-isolation. Stock up in essentials, namely Heinz tomato soup
and beer
and beer and beans, because it's relatively cheap, and B, I'm too lazy to cook anything else more advanced than soup or beans on toast.
It's quite an interesting times to live in. Having said that, I mean, it's an interesting. You know, it does. I mean, there's loads of conspiracy theories going around at the moment that this is the culmination of something big's going to happen. So I don't know if you're interested in conspiracy theories in general. I'm not a fan of such things.
There's reports of more accessible reports about aliens, for instance.
Oh, is it them that caused it?
Yeah. So there is this theory going around that.
Illegal aliens. Like aliens.
The aliens, and it was aliens. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. Have released this virus to thin out the population of Earth before we destroy ourselves.
That's
basically resetting.
That because I watched a thing on the telly last week. It's a remake of War of the Worlds.
Yeah,
it's a French thing, and that's what they done. Released a virus. It killed everyone. I always thought the
reason that the aliens died in War of the Worlds was a bit shit.
Yeah, they got the fucking virus.
It's written this brilliant piece of work, and then thought, right, how do we defeat these undefeatable aliens?
That might be what keeps us up, Tony. The common cold.
It could be, mate. It could be. I mean, that's what they're saying. Is that your average alien, as soon as he takes his space helmet off. He's done, mate. He's got a cold. He's got flu. He's got kids sneezing all over him.
So it will be interesting to see what happens.
Everything's coming in together.
And I think over the next, personally, like I said a minute ago, I'm not Nigel Farage. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's going to happen. What I'm saying is, I think over the next 2 or 3 days, things are going to move fairly rapidly on all fronts. And I will be amazed if they let us go to football matches.
Well, possibly Saturday as well.
I think, personally,
I've got a feeling I won't be going to Tranmere.
I think possibly, if I was a betting man, I would say this Saturday at Oxford is possibly the last game we'll be at this season. That's only
maybe not this season, but
no,
for the foreseeable future anyway.
Yeah.
Have you actually heard anybody saying, I ain't washing my hands, I don't care, I'm going to get it anyway?
I'm washing my hands like a fucking
idiot.
I am.
I'm washing mine 5 or 6 times a day. I would always
wash
my hands after the toilet anyway, but...
Like, it tells you to sing happy birthday twice, doesn't it? I've wished myself more happy birthdays this week than I've actually fucking had in real life.
Well, I enjoy the process.
You should be washing your hands anyway. I tell you, having said that, I've just remembered something. At full time on Saturday, I went to the loo on the way out, and the amount of people, guys in the toilet, that had a slash and then walked straight out. I thought, fuck me. Yeah. Anyway, I always find it odd if you go to the toilet and you don't wash your hands, but I'm thinking, do you blokes not, like, read? They don't, do they?
Some people just don't do it, and I've never understood why you wouldn't. If only for your own cleanliness.
Only for your own health and safety.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a strange situation. I mean, the Rangers, whoever it is they're playing next week, they're playing some Germans tomorrow at Ibrox, and that's still on.
Yeah.
But the return leg in Germany it's been announced today that it's behind closed doors. So
already?
I would be thinking that the general consensus is that they don't think that the Europa League is going to finish. They think it won't finish. Yeah. And then you've got like I said to someone,
the Euros.
The Euros? What happens about the Euros?
Yeah,
I mean, they're all over Europe. That ain't going to happen, is it? It's not. How can it possibly happen?
I mean, it's a fair way off. So there's all of that. But
there's all of that.
Let's get off of that now. Anyway,
it's done. If you were to ask me what's going to happen, I think that what I think will happen is I think they'll finish the season, but it'll be behind closed doors.
I'll be distraught if I have to miss a home game.
Well,
that gets played, but I suppose
it'll be an odd situation to watch it with no one there, will it? You know.
Yeah. Well, as I say, not for some clubs. That's
for some clubs it'll be all right.
It'll just be normal. Mm-hmm. So, did you go to the new bar?
I didn't, Tony. No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
I didn't partake in the festivities. No. I was given a guided tour.
Did you go around it?
Prior to the game on Saturday morning. It looked decent. Again,
is it outside? Is it like...
It is technically outside, yes. Right. As with despite the club being very clear about it being an absolute 100% trial, people are getting quite upset about some of the Facebook things.
Group. There's plenty of opinions about it on there.
Yeah, but I mean, we know whether the TV's too small. Know that. Why they're not going to go out and spend thousands on a massive TV if they're not going to make it a permanent fixture. They're not going to install permanent beer pumps if it's not going to be a permanent fixture.
They seemed quite taken aback by the numbers that went. They weren't expecting
749 people.
And when I read how many people go in the Cowshed bar each week, I thought, I'm quite surprised it's just as few as that.
I mean, there was always going to be a lot of interest, but 750 people.
There seemed to be a lot of palaver as to how you leave it and get back in the stadium.
I spoke to a couple of people. There seem to be differing opinions on how you access and exit. It does appear that you have to go in and back out again, and someone was saying that, and it did say on the information, you won't have to scan your ticket or have your ticket checked until you actually go into the ground. But apparently people were being asked for their tickets when they were only going up to the bar. So I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know the full ins and outs of getting in and out. But it's a nice big space. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It's
did
700
and odd people, were they comfortable in there?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
In fact, the one thing that, again, something I've moaned about in the Red Dot Bar is a lack of seating. That was one thing that did come up. That can be addressed immediately.
It's a massive problem in the Cowshed Bar. No seats, especially if someone like me that can't stand for long periods of time. I find it quite irritating not to get a seat, but hey, it is what it is.
There isn't. It's never been enough seating in the bars.
No. You don't want people to sit. You want them to drink and get back out, basically. So I suppose that's why it's done, isn't it?
But would you not stay longer if you had the comfort of a seat?
What,
would you not arrive? Would you not arrive earlier? Oh no, I'm talking about before the game.
I would like to arrive early, but it's just a thing.
If you were sat in the cowshed and you had to trek all the way over there at half time,
I wouldn't.
You might go after the game,
maybe,
but you wouldn't go at half time because by the time you got there, got served, drunk,
would be 20 minutes into the next half.
You would be, yeah. So
I wouldn't.
I think it's more pre and post match that.
I think it's not a half time activity, is it? That definitely.
But no, it looks like a good space.
Fair play to them for having a go at it.
And if it does prove popular and they decide to go permanent, walls will be put in.
I think perhaps.
And it wasn't cold up there either. One person said they were freezing cold.
I'll put a jumper on.
But no one else has said that too. Except one. So it was. Did seem to go down quite well. You got the usual idiots moaning like it's the end of the world because it wasn't perfect, but the club did point out it is purely a trial. The Young Dons area, again, lots of room there. There's a pool table up there as well, by the way.
I've heard that,
Yeah, there's a pool table.
I've got a pool game on
table
my phone.
tennis.
I'm good at it.
Yeah. You play the old 8-ball on there?
I've set it to rookie, so I'm brilliant at it.
All right. I actually set up 2 accounts. On this, one on my computer and one on my phone, and I would just swap from one to the other.
You're playing yourself?
Yeah, to get my ratings up. So basically, the other one was just a lamb to the slaughter, I suppose.
So yeah, like I said a minute ago, credit to the club for having a go, and I don't know if the SA are behind it or whatever. I think they
very
are
big hand in it
because they were like pushing it like.
I mean, it was always to me a real disappointment when I saw the red dot bar.
Yeah.
Particularly as the season prior, or pre-season, we went to Ruston and Diamond.
I remember that.
They had a lovely clubhouse, lovely supporters bar there.
It?
And the chairman walked in. He said, "You'll have one of these soon."
One of these, I was there.
I thought, nice one, chairman. Can't wait to see it.
I remember him saying it.
And there it was, and I thought, this is very underwhelming.
That was the day that they had the F1 on, and that spring came off a car and hit that guy right in the face.
Was that the one?
I watched it there. Yeah. There you go. Just a little aside there.
We almost didn't play that game.
No, that wasn't it. That was the year before.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
I remember that time when he turned up and Rob weren't going to play.
Oh, you were talking about Kettering.
Kettering? Oh, right, no, I'm talking about Ruston and Diamond.
This is when Kettering were playing at Ruston and Diamond's ground. And they just got in there and the pitch was...
it wasn't great, was it?
It was dry, to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah.
It wasn't happy with Robo.
And
he only played it because so many people had turned up to watch it.
Yeah.
He's an idiot, that Robo. Might see him on Saturday. I think we'll see him.
We can't really miss him, can we?
No, he'll be shouting, standing about.
So
I've got an update, Tony, on footballers seen outside of football.
Yes, go on then.
This is a cracker, this. I've had to write his name down. Harvey Elliott. He's the young kid that plays for Liverpool, the silly top knot.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
I've seen him in a car. He was in the passenger seat, because apparently he's not old enough to drive, on a traffic jam on the M1 on Friday afternoon, just at Toddington Services.
Oh, there you go.
I thought, when you can see someone, I said, I wonder if that's you. I drove up and it was he. One of those things where the guy just wouldn't look at me.
But you could tell. You could tell he knows you're there.
He's like on his phone, and I said, it's me, mate. I remember you from... remember that time we played you? So there you go.
Oh,
that's good. I get to see the footballers, Tony, me.
So we are still running our competition.
Oh, we are. Now we've
decided
we're going to upgrade it a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I have. Don't know if Tony's agreed yet.
Well, I've still got all this stuff that Hildy gave me in my car, so I might just chuck in... I've just got too much of it.
We could chuck something
in. And I'm meeting him again
next
next week, and he's found some more stuff.
We could just put, whatever it is, one of the things that's still wrapped up.
Yeah, we'll just throw it in there. So, you'll know the question. There appears to be someone who has sent an answer through, but we don't appear to have received it. So,
if you're the chap that I spoke to in the half-time on Saturday and you said, I've sent that thing, I hope I win those gloves, we can't find your email, mate, so if you could send it again.
Yeah, it's not in spam. It's not... Well, it's just not there.
Yeah, and now you'll probably get some kind of goalkeeping jumper business as well.
You could well do. Could well do, yeah.
You're definitely going to get something else apart from a pair of manky old gloves. You will get something else as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Mate, I just found it, Chief. Quite honest with you.
It's in the spam. It's in the spam.
Well, I've just found it, mate. Don't send that again.
I didn't think to...
I didn't think to look in spam.
No, I just looked and I thought it's the only other place it can be. If you
found it. Don't send that again,
we sent
mate.
it. We've got it. So yeah, don't worry about it. Let's have a look.
Wait, funny
I didn't even checked,
and he's not even right.
Yeah, he's right.
Oh well,
yeah.
Right.
So another right answer going into the folder. Well done, you. Where have I just put that? Undo that.
You might have to send that again, mate. Tony might have just deleted you.
Yeah, right. Move it to correct quiz answers. There you go.
There we go.
Right, you're in the folder now. You're
so-
in the drawer.
Yeah, if you're that bloke I spoke to on Saturday, well done, mate. We've found it.
If you don't know the answer to the question, listen to a podcast from about 3 weeks ago. It's on there because we can't be bothered to repeat it.
Yeah.
The prize is Willie Gray's gloves from the promotion season, fully worn.
And something
Literally
else.
in
as well.
both respects. They were worn on his hands and they are very worn out. And I'll chuck in some other gear once I empty out my
It's
car.
not even out the plastic wrap.
Not even out of the wrappers,
There you
Sam.
go.
Not
Can't
even
see
out of the
better than
wrappers.
that, can
You
you?
might want to be an extra large though, let's put
Yes.
it that way. So, Saturday.
Right, Saturday. Well,
we go to
blimey.
Oxford. Are you going? You are
I'm
going?
going, but I don't have my tickets yet.
Don't have your tea. You need to get those.
I shall probably try my best to
I've
get
got a
bit
feeling
of-
it's all ticket as well, is it?
I think so. I've had a busy week this week. I've just not had the time to
Yeah.
get down there. I've kind of scheduled, tomorrow afternoon, but we are driving, unfortunately. I did want to
right,
go.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not happy, but it is what it is. What
Well,
can I
it's a
say?
pain in the ass to get to on the train, and the bus is only a tenner, so and
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
only an hour away. So.
I would like to go by coach, but I've been overruled by a child, basically.
Well, can't he just drive himself there?
Well,
and get on the coach?
it seems a bit pointless, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So they're one of the form teams.
They
if
are
not
the
form.
third at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, they
You know.
did drop down a place, but they've shot up from 8th to
Yeah.
2nd in the space of about 3 weeks.
They're finishing strongly, aren't they? It's
They
not
won't have taken it well, losing
we
to
beaten
us
them.
at
No,
our
he
place.
didn't. He wasn't best happy.
No, it wasn't
We beat
at all. I don't really know what to say about this one.
I don't. I mean, I've not.
Our away record, as we know, isn't the best.
No,
We can honestly say that it's not very good at all.
no.
They are a very good team. They've got some very good players, including Fosu Henry.
Mm,
They've also got the Jamie Mackey. I don't know if he's
decade.
playing at the moment. He's like 86 now and
I ain't keen on him.
still scoring. Matty Taylor, is it? They got him as well.
Right.
So they got some decent players.
Yeah, I mean,
and
you're not sitting third
I do
in the league
fear.
at this.
I do fear a little bit.
You're not sitting third in the league at this.
Yeah. Let's put it this
No
way: if we
stage
were
of
to
it by
lose,
accident.
if we were to lose 1-0,
I'd be not happy,
I
but I'd be,
wouldn't be
happier
happy.
than
But
I think what's going to
because I
happen.
got a feeling that something could happen
Yeah.
there. However, I'm going to say that we're going to win 2-0 and stick by it as always.
I don't know what to say. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I'm not really concerned with what's happening at the top of the league because
Yeah.
I'm more concerned with what's happening.
Well, I'd say
at
let's
the
get
bottom.
let's get this one out of the way,
I
and then the last 8 games when we do
Yeah.
play Tranmere, we
Then,
do play AFC.
that's when I think.
Yeah,
I think. Let's be honest, Saturday's a free hit for us, isn't it? Because I don't think anyone's expecting us to win there.
Yeah.
How can you, to be quite
but
honest?
this is our second free hit
It is.
in a
Yeah.
Portsmouth away as
Yeah.
well. We can't have too many
No,
more
we
free
can't have any
hits.
more. This is the last of it
Yeah.
here on Saturday, just coming.
And obviously we can't rely on other teams now because Tranmere have started winning.
Yep.
Yeah, I still don't think we'll go down. I think
No, I don't think we'll go
do
down.
enough, or the
But I
teams
think it'll
beneath
be
us
tight.
will fight it. We'll sort it out amongst themselves.
Like
But
we said earlier on,
we're
I
still very
reckon
close.
it's either Wimbledon or bloody like Accrington that are kind of the ones that are.
well, Accrington are in
Hopefully.
free fall, and as I say, the coronavirus thing we might not even see
Yeah.
an end of season.
Speaking of
would they
which-
just say? Would they wipe it? Do you think wipe it and just?
Well, I don't know. Perhaps it just finish it as it is at the minute, and that would do me. I'd be happy enough with that.
Oh no! Well, we want Tranmere to overtake AFC, so give it another couple.
Give it a couple of weeks, and then finish it. Then.
There, yeah. Once
Speaking of AFC, Tony, that game's been moved. Surprise!
yeah,
surprise.
it's a 1 p.m. kick-off now, but on a Saturday.
Yeah.
For the first time we played there on a Saturday.
Let's be honest, Tony. we're not going to play them on a Saturday at 1 o'clock. Well, if we're playing them, we're not going to be there.
I'm definitely not going.
Are you not going? If it's on, if it's still on, and you can still go, I am definitely going to that.
You are?
I am.
I'm not going.
I'm
not going. That was the most terrifying experience of my life last time I went. No matter what we did to protect our fans there, and we did, and that's why it's going to be a bubble game again.
I did see it on their Twitter feed. We put it on our Twitter feed. Our game against AFC Wimbledon has been, rearranged, and it says and then on their Twitter feed, our game on, insert day has been moved, and no, they didn't mention it.
Do you know how they phrased it? How they said it? They said it's been put back 2 hours.
Oh right. Oh.
So if you're putting something back 2 hours, that means it's later.
Yeah, it does have put back. Yeah, putting something
bringing
back,
it forward.
Yeah,
that's playing it earlier.
They
so they've got that wrong for a start. So you're fucking useless.
They're idiots, those people, Tony. You know that.
Stupid, illiterate.
They are, Tony. They're not my favourites. I've got to be honest.
No, I'm not gonna. But that's me being very.
I mean, I would like to go, but like we said earlier on, I'd be surprised if anyone's allowed to go to these games.
Yeah, I mean that will be bang in the middle there, won't it?
Yeah.
When is it? Is it before the Tranmere or is it after?
I'm not sure. Something tells me it's the 18th of April, but that's me
just
guessing.
Yeah, so because Tranmere is the it is because Tranmere is the 27th, 28th, right. Or whenever it is. So we see who our last 9 fixtures are then. Should they occur? So Oxford away on Saturday.
Yep.
Gillingham at home on the 21st.
Yep.
And then Tranmere away on the 28th.
Right. When's the bank holiday weekend?
The bank holiday weekend is Peterborough and Saturday the 4th of April at home to Fleetwood. Then we're into Good Friday, Peterborough away, and then Easter Monday home to Accrington. That could be massive.
That's a one.
Then we play AFC.
That's a big one as well.
Then we're at home to Blackpool, and then obviously last game away to Ipswich. Yeah.
Which is an irrelevance.
Is that 9? Didn't feel like it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it is.
Not many games to go.
It's not when you say it out like that. It doesn't sound like.
It's the second week of March already.
So Gillingham lost a game, didn't they, for the first time in?
Did they?
Yeah, they did lose a game. I think.
Good for them.
Tranmere, we know about Tranmere. Fleetwood on a really good run at the moment. Peterborough, obviously, a Peterborough, and they could beat us 8-0. They could lose 1-0 to us. Accrington are in 3-4. AFC, Blackpool hot and cold, and then Ipswich, who are on an absolute dire run.
Run from form.
So don't know what you're going to get from Ipswich, to be honest. So.
No, I don't know.
So we're none the wiser, even having looked at those 9 games.
We still don't know what's going on.
And
just a strange situation to be sitting here wondering if you're even going to be able to finish the season.
Well, if you're going to leave the house in the next week or so.
I don't know what to say.
I've got my soup. I've got my beans. I've got
your
bread in the freezer.
50 toilet rolls.
I've got 14 toilet rolls left.
Oh, Tony, that's not a lot, is it?
I did actually get down to my last toilet roll before I bought this 16. I just like living dangerously sometimes. For me, that's actual anxiety attack, being down to my last toilet roll. Not because I think that we'll run out of toilet paper. Well, I certainly didn't at that point. Now it's a distinct possibility. But
it's a strange thing, isn't it? Why there's been a rush of loo paper?
I really don't understand it. I just don't get it at all.
Unless people blown their nose with it, I don't know what to say.
That's the only thing I can think of.
God knows.
Is that they're buying it to carry around about it, to sneeze into it, I'd cough into it. I don't know.
You want to know my theory?
Yeah.
People are all fucking idiots. That's my theory.
Yeah. No, there's. How does that start? And then why do other people pick up on it and decide to do the same thing?
Well, he's buying 48 rolls of toilet paper. I better get 14.
Should this be the irrationally angry thing that I mentioned last week? It's not irrationally though. It's not an irrational anger because it's perfectly rational to think that people are fucking idiots for cleaning out.
Which they are.
Yeah, it went into Asda and Tesco, and they've all the good toilet rolls are gone. It's just the Tesco stuff. So they're even being selective about what they.
If you're going to be locked up for 14 days, so you want to treat yourself like a little prince, don't you?
Well, you have to wonder why if the people are stockpiling. Either A, how long do they think they're going to be locked in their own homes, and B, How often do they shit?
I'll be honest with you. If it does come to the fact where let's call it, if they do in Italy, that would not bother me. I could quite happily be off work for fucking as long as it takes. I'll potter off down to the allotment every day. I'll cut the grass.
I mean, the thing is,
time.
at the
I'll have
moment,
an absolutely brilliant time. I really will.
You could. I mean, I think the instructions at my place of work are, if you are exhibiting symptoms, you should self-isolate, contact one. Right. So there's, like myself, there are loads of people in my office who are coughing and sneezing. Who probably by those rules shouldn't be there.
You're more aware of it at the minute, aren't you? Because they're telling you that we're all going to die. Basically.
I think more people are going to get it than not.
Yeah.
It just depends how you deal with it. Can you get over it? Yeah.
There's no point in sitting worrying about it. What can you do? So there you go. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. So there it is, straight from
we've had no guests this
John.
week. Yeah, it's gone back to the old school, Tony.
Yeah, I was on a bit of a run there.
We've had a nice one of guests, haven't we?
Yeah, I nearly invited Gordon this week.
I did try to get
moaning about.
I did try to get my son on, but he wants to watch the Champions League tonight, so he can't be bothered watching.
He wants to watch it. Why would anybody want to watch the Champions League?
He's football mad, Tony. He's football crazy. He's football
mad. Does he just watch it because it's on?
He's football daft.
Pretty much. That did used to be me, actually, but. No, I can't be bothered with that anymore. Plus, I haven't got the necessary subscription services to do that, and I don't miss it at all.
You used about 5 different ones, didn't you, to watch it? So there we go. It's been a bit of a... Well, it ain't that short, is it?
When it was not even truncated, was it? Such
50 minutes, that, Tony.
Yeah, there you go. See, so
48 to be precise.
We've had our predictions. We will be back next Wednesday if we're alive.
I think next Wednesday we'll draw the thing.
Yes, so this is you've got a week from now to get your
much longer before we can
your answers in.
I tell you, those gloves would be handy for the old coronavirus.
They would. They're probably full of it now.
We might have found.
Yeah, there's probably other.
We might have found patient zero right here.
It's got its own ecosystem in there. I think those
manky old gloves. There you go. So it's just been me and him this week. So. There you go.
So we might have a guest next week. Might not even be here. So
might not even be here. We might be locked up for 14 days.
We may self-isolate and live stream for 2 weeks.
We can do it by Skype if we think. I've already thought how we're going to do the podcast, and it would be by Skype.
See, we've got a plan in place. Got a plan in place.
Boris Johnson with your not plans.
Yeah. Actually, we could do that every week. Why do I fucking drive to Stony Stratford every week?
I have thought about doing it by Skype.
I don't think you get that personal touch,
you
do you?
wouldn't. No. Not as funny. I think that's us then.
Yeah, right.
You've had some long ones, now you've had some relatively back to normal
ones. Back to normal, as it should be.
Yes, so hopefully, if we've not got the plague, we'll see you next week.
Ta-da.